So that works? Hello? Wow. Thank you, Cleveland. Hello, 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 hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Feels odd to have a microphone for people that are like 9 feet away. What? Can you hear me in the back? All the way in the back of the room. I can spit that far. Don't ask me to prove it. One of the things I like to do before we get going, you want me to just get going? Straggling in? All right. One of the things I like to do is instead of saying, hey, you, I like to know your name. And so you probably all have note paper. Why don't you make a little tent, you know, write your name big and bold. It's a lot easier than saying, hey, you. That way I can offend you in a deep and personal manner. Okay, so here let me revise my statement. The goal is not to write your name as small as possible on the tent. The goal is to write your name as large as possible on the tent, so I can read the name and then publicly ridicule you at will. See, Justin's got it. That's about. I'll give it a 6. I can see it, but I'll give it a 6. Okay, so that must be Amanda. Because the only reason I know that is I can see the A, and I have your name here, and I have your phone number, and I have your email too. So just be careful, Amanda. Drew's got it. Drew's good, and I've never seen a tent of that orientation. So does that say a lot about Drew and your orientation? Okay, good. Brian, I'm going to give that a 9.5. That's good. I like that. How many left-handers in the room? Just the one guy writing with his left hand? Okay. All right. Jeremy, that's good. I like that. And you go for the triple fold tent. That's good. I like that. Travis has got it figured out. I can see Matthew. Trish, I knew Trish's name when she walked in with Jordan. Leave it up there. Alex, that's good. I'll give it about a 7, but it's a strong 7. Jordan's going for creativity and visibility. Jordan is the gold standard of name tents today. I like that. And he's sitting up front too. Sits up front, does what I want him to do, right? All right. Okay. Well, let's just start, shall we? There's a lot better things to do on a Saturday than this, so I appreciate your effort. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Good. You'll notice everybody's made a nice name tag with their name nice and visible. Do not look at Amanda's example in the back because it's bottom drawer. But you might want to look at Jordan's in the front. He's done a fine job. Okay. I want to be able to offend you personally. This is I shouldn't go outside my box here. So, my name is Tony Cuomo. I'm a professional land surveyor here in California. I got my license in 1988, and judging from the freshness of some of your faces, that was probably before a fair portion of you were born. I do feel like the old guy more and more, but I try not to behave that way. So We'll try to keep it light. I understand your commitment. I understand your desire to pass this test. I'm sure John has talked about it in true terms. Name tag, first thing, name tag. Oh. Don't forget. This is a very, very difficult test. How many of you have taken it already before? A couple of you, okay? It's a tough test, yes? Okay, I'll tell you a tough test story. A group of colleagues of mine went to take the test, and they took it at the LA County Fairgrounds in Pomona, and a bunch of guys drove up together, and they took the test, and the guy who drove was so rattled by the end of the day that he forgot that he carpooled with a bunch of guys, and he just went out and got in his car and drove home. Okay? I've had other people tell me they forgot where their car is. It's a difficult test for those of you who haven't taken it. It's a broad-ranging test. It's a shotgun-style test. It's not grouped into categories, and it's just they throw it all at you, don't they? Now, it's a lot easier now because you're not in the fairgrounds. You're in a nice computer testing center, and it's a much more sterile environment. You probably won't lose your car, but it's still a very difficult test. And Rich, good. I'll give that an 8. That's good. I like that. Have we met?
Maybe.
Maybe? All right. You look familiar. Does anybody tell you look like somebody? Because maybe I met that other person.
Could be.
Could be. The key to passing this test is vigilant survey, a vigilant study program. You two have a built-in study group. I mean, I don't know if you like each other, but even if you don't like each other, study together, study apart, work problems together. Exposure to problems and studying is one of the key factors. Although it's a closed book test, I want to give you some suggestions of books that you should have in your possession to become a land surveyor in California. One of them is called The Definitions of Surveying and Associated Terms. You can find all these online. This is a glossary. It's a glossary of surveying and mapping terms. And it's very, 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 very important on the fundamentals test to have a good command of the surveying vocabulary. This is definitions of surveying and associated terms. Oftentimes, on the fundamentals test, the problem itself is relatively simple if you know the vocabulary of the problem, right? You're shaking your head. I mean, they don't mince words. They go right to the language of the discipline that they're testing, and they write these questions. And the question looks just insurmountable, but it's because you might not be familiar with the vocabulary of the test. How many of you can translate a geodetic bearing into a grid azimuth? I don't know. Right? Okay, let me ask it another way. How many of you can add two angles together and get the answer? Okay, I mean it's that diverse. So definitions of surveying and associated terms. Certainly, one of the things that you're tested on in the fundamentals test is public land system in the Manual of Surveying Instructions published by the BLM, the 2009 Manual of Manual of Instructions, Surveying Instructions.